Okay. So the version I wrote is in G major, and I just wanted to look at the actual key, C sharp or D flat. That way you can really appreciate how much easier it is to play in G on the guitar. But it never hurts to get some practice on these scales. And then we'll start with C because that's the easiest one, not because it's designed that way, it just so happens. So C, where is this? Let me get my pencil happy. There we go. C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step back to C. So you can see why that might be helpful. This song is in C sharp, so you might want to capo the first fret and play it in C. No, that said, you can also challenge yourself, play it in C sharp. We could talk about that. That said, if that's the C scale, this is the C sharp scale. Everything is sharped, including those ugly E sharps and B sharps. But that's just the way it is because we use one of each letter. You just have to do whatever you got to do to hit the right note. But in the spelling sense, that's how you would spell it. If you were on standard notation, there would be 7 sharps on there. Now let's look at D flat. See if it's any easier. D flat, whole step to E flat. I shouldn't say easier, but cleaner. Whole step to F. Okay, right there, we at least got an F natural. Half step to G flat. Remember, I'm using flats because I wouldn't want to say F sharp after that one. I don't want 2 Fs. So G flat, whole step to A flat, whole step to B flat, whole step to C, half step back to D flat. So that one's a little cleaner because it doesn't have any E sharp. You're not calling anything that we're not used to calling it. So I think of it in D flat. And now let's make life easier and do G. G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, and half step back to G. So there's only one accidental there, that F sharp. I find that easier, and for the way I like to play the guitar, I want to try to cover some bass and some melody. So you'll see why that's the key I chose when we start talking about it. But right there, the song really is in, get my colors. The song really is in this key right here. But because of the capo, we can raise the pitch of the guitar to match it. But just know that if you sit at the piano, the song really is in D flat. All right. So there's our G scale. Everything that we're going to talk about is in that G scale because this song beautifully just lives in that scale. Let's also just look at one more thing. The one chord, what is this like little crayon? The one chord is here. I don't like that at all. Let's get rid of all that. Okay, 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5. This is just what happens when you start stacking notes in the major scale back to the 1. So it'd be like A minor, B minor, E minor, F sharp diminished, like that. Hope that fits there. I'll give you a little room. But the good news is this song, I've forgotten how to use an iPad apparently. This song only uses this, this, and this. You hear musicians say all the time, oh, it's easy, it's 1, 4, 5. That just means you're only using the 3 major chords that are in the major scale. Okay, so if you know a G chord, a C chord, and a D chord, and you have a capo, you can play this song. That said, I'm not going to spend too much time on the level 1 version, but let's take a look at it. All right, no capo involved. Okay, there I am. Grab your pick. So, there's a G, here's level 1, D. So you can see right there though, the D major doesn't really sound right. It's got to be a D dominant 7, a D7. So that's 2nd fret on the G, 1st fret on the B, 2nd fret on that high E. I should have noted that. So G is the 1, When we go to the 5 chord, we really have to go to that 5-7 though to get the feeling of this song. Then we got a C, back to G, just keeps looping, back to D7, back to C, back to G, never stops. Still on G, D7, C, that's my C, G, G, D7, you know where it's going, C. Let's go level 1, G, D7, C, D7, C, okay. Now let's take a look at that. Let me also just set this clock so I don't lose track of what I'm doing here. Okay. I know there's one back there for you guys. Okay, let's look at the melody for a second too. G. So let's talk the G major scale. So we're speaking the same language. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. That F sharp's everything. There's so much of the melody that comes from that F sharp in this song. So it's important to know your notes. G is here, 3rd fret on the high E, F sharp, half step down, E is in the scale. So that's just us descending, G, F sharp, E. If you think about the notes, you could say that's the 8th note, the 7th note, the 6th note. D is the 5, C is the 4, B is the 3, A is the 2, G is the 1. So check this out. Let's put some melody in there. So it's here. Does it again. Then, also to bring it back to the hot topic, this is that handing off thing. That note hands off to this, and then D to C, and then C to B, and then A to G. So it really is descending down that scale. Oh, then it goes back up here. Yep. F sharp to E, D to C, C to B, that's a C, to a B, A, to G. And notice the melody there ends on that G and then a big leap back up to that high G. That octave, I think, also creates a lot of feeling. That same, like as soon as it's over, right back to the top. So you can see why the G chord is easy, because I want to be able to hit these notes and a bass note. So I like the G. That way I can go. So see, I'm going that G to that F sharp. And just if you want to get specific, a G with an F sharp in it is a G major 7. So I'm going G to G major 7. Then D7, but I put the pinky on so it turns it into a D7 sus 4. And you can hear the suspense resolves to the D7. Now, the handing off the notes, hot topic. That F sharp right there, we keep it from the D7. And you can't really fret a full C chord. You could, but that feels kind of crazy to me. So picture you're playing a C, but we really want that F sharp right there. So as guitar players, we have to sometimes abandon a bass note or do whatever you can, since we have only one hand to hold down notes. So your C is here, but this would be here for a C, this would be here for a C, and now I free this up, so I'm basically just playing an inverted C right there. I'm just strumming from the D string on. And see how that note's left over, a lot of suspense, and then open it up for a C. So let's review that. G is the 1. I guess I should have noted, I'm kind of narrating as though you've seen the tab. The tab is up on the Patreon. But what you'll see is G, and then you're gonna hit tick-tock to that B string. And it really relates to the warm-up we did because it's a real straight 8th note. There's always something to do. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'll see if I can get both hands in there. So I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and D7. The G is up high. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and C with an F sharp in it. I would call C add sharp 4. Then I could play a full C. Now I go to a G. I personally I want to hit that D right there, so I like to play the G like this. I'm just killing the A string, and then I'm going to need this finger to hit that C right there, so I go, and now I'm going B, G. In terms of the strings I'm picking. Now, let's review that, because we have two more little measures there, but let's hit that one more time. Watch this. So we made it that far. Now the next chord is D7. The C is good, that's in a D7, and I want to go C to B, but the problem is if I hit the open D string, really the melody is going that F sharp right there. So if I was to reach that, I'd have to hit the D right there. I can't really do that. So I want a C, I want an F sharp and a D. So the easiest way to do it would be D there, F sharp there, and then C right there. And then the good news is I want to go from this C to this B, so my index could lay across there. I can go. And then this is a D6, D, F sharp, and B, and we're going to move down to a C6, whole step down. And then we open it up for that open G. And if you know your guitar, you know that's just the low end of a C chord right there. And then big leap back to the high G. It's such a good melody. Once you get it down, you kind of make your way through it and you're like, I'll do it one more time. Next thing you know, you're caught in the cycle of this 3-chord loop. Okay, so that's the version I wrote out. Let's rest for a second and let's talk about a couple other things. You can just listen for a little bit. So I'm going to play it in the original key, D flat, in case you want to. Okay, let's take a look. I haven't done this in a while. Actually, why would I do that? Let's play it in C first. Let's play it in C first. Then we'll move up to C sharp or D flat. So, C. This is a great song too because it's, for those of you studying your major scale, it walks perfectly through the major scale and you can really see the chords move. It takes a while to see it, but once I get to the C chord, I know that when I played it in the key of G, a G was the high note to start my melody. So if I'm in the key of C now, a C is going to be the starting point. So I want to go from C to C major 7, which means C, and then this is C major 7, just adding a B to it. So I would go. Now I gotta think, okay. Maybe like this. Right here's a G dominant 7 to a G6 to a F6 to an F. You can see I'm really running out of room here too. So I'd have to get down to just F and C there. You could, so that's your C version. You could capo that way and play it like that. I think that's a whole lot easier than C sharp or D flat. But let's take a look at it in D flat too. Why not? Okay. Let me just check a couple of things. Cool. All right. Again, this is for your exploration. If you want to try to arrange it in D flat, go for it. I think it's actually a really good exercise too to like sort of force yourself to stay in the key that if you're learning songs that are not written on guitar, there is the temptation to make it a guitar song, which I did. But at the same time, I have felt the benefits sometimes of just being like, you have to keep it in the original key. So let's take a look. And again, I'll be figuring it out as we go. So that's a C sharp chord or D flat. I'll just say D flat from now on. So D flat's the 1, A flat's the 4, G flat, no, I said that wrong. A flat's the 5, D flat's the 1, A flat's the 5, G flat's the 4, D flat is the 1. So let me play it like a level 1 way of doing that, like this. Down to the 4. To the 1. 5. 4. Okay. So you can hear right there though, to just play straight major chords doesn't really capture the feeling. And there are some times where sort of the melody it doesn't go against it, but like when he goes from that 1 chord to like a major 7 and you just stay on the 1, that's going to cause some problems or just lose some feeling. So because he's going, that's the 1, that's the 7. So right off the bat, I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to play it like with my thumb so I can go. And now I know I need to go again. So it goes. How to do this? Let's see. I might have to go way up here. That's an A flat. And keep an eye out. I know right now that I'm handing off a note to the next chord, and it's this one, and that's going to be tough to do. So I'd play the F or the G flat like this, and I'd reach way out. And then it resolves into a nice G flat. Now right here, what happens? This is a sus4. No, that doesn't happen. It goes 1, then to a sus4. Like that. Then that note's gonna carry over to the next. familiar shape right there. Whole step down. Might have to reach there. I like it so much, let me try it with the track. Awesome. All right, let's look at some of that. Man, the one spot to really see, and it's actually a great timing because I was working on a video for the fundamentals section. What's up with the 5/7 chord? Basically 5/7 to 1. And this song has a lot of moments where you just really can see that. Example being, okay, let's come back to G. Let's come back to G. And I was saying on Monday also that the good news is the alternate version, the slowed and reverbed version, which is a little slow, but it is in G. So check it out. I'll find the spot I want to talk about. Right here. I'm ahead. Right there, I think. How it goes from that G sus to a... Is that the moment I'm thinking of? Let's see. Let's see. It may go back to the original key. Yes. Right there. Okay. How do we do that in G is the question. So I'm going, okay, we could do it like this. We're in G. Now right here, I'm going to fret it differently. But I want you guys to spend some time with this and really see how this moves. It's so cool. So you're going, this D note that's in a G chord, I want to be able to play something with my pinky, so I need to wrap my thumb. And I'm playing a G like that. And then that's a G sus4, because C is the fourth note of G, so we're suspending it with the fourth note. So I'm going. Now right here, this is a G, this is a C. We're headed to a D, and there's a D right there if you wanted to put it in there. That's in the chord. However, we're headed to a D dominant 7. So this G and C, the D dominant 7 has D, F sharp, A, and C. The C is good. The G is not. We need to go down to an F sharp, and then the D right there. So if you play with it long enough, you will see just this, just that. If you can understand how it gets from that 1 sus4 into a 5 dominant 7, I think you're in a good place. And you can put that bass note in there, D6. That's the main part I want you to think about. See? Always got to do it one more time. I suppose we should talk about that one. It's got, if you like zoom in on it, it's almost got like a, you could make it like a, I always think of that chord as like a Jimmy Page chord. So you're taking the 4 chord, but you're putting that F sharp over it because it's in the key of G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. But when you put that F sharp over that C chord, that's not, that's putting a lot of tension in there. And it really wants to either go there or there. Basically just anything to get off that F sharp back to a G or F sharp to an E. And then we're into the spot I was talking about. Hard to see when you do it like that though. I was doing it like this. There's my D7. Okay, now I'm just going to keep giving you guys some versions. Let's say you get a good grasp of that melody. Try it in different spots on the neck. I haven't done this, but let's do it here. Maybe I like that better. Now right here, look at this. This dissonant C and an F sharp is actually going to remain when we go to the next chord. And then resolve. G with a C. What do I need here? I'm going to stay up here a little bit. That's the 5-7 right there. Hands it off to the 4. Resolves to a nice 4. Then to the 1. 1 sus 4 to a 5-7. 5-6. 4-6 to a 4. If you want to get real ambitious, can we do it way up here? Nope. Figuring out as I go. Getting way up there. Okay. Let's rest our ears for 1 second. Let's come back to here for a sec. Let's see. Let's just recite some of these scales because there's a lot. C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You could see the appeal of playing it in C. We talked about C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp. D flat, another way to call that, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. To be honest with you, I'm not really thinking about either of those. When I play it in G, I'm seeing the notes. I am. When I play it in D flat, I see the relationship. Meaning, I'm not a veteran of playing in D flat or C sharp, but I know where it is. I know where C sharp is, so I know that my major third is there, my 5 is there, my 1 is there, my major 7 is there. I have my little reference points. What was I saying about this key? Oh yeah, just being real with you. They're like, I know that's my 1, I know that's my 4, I know that's my 5. I know if I want a 5 and I want to suspend it right there. And then as I head to the 4, I want that note left over from before. And I know that that's a C, or I should, yeah, C, back to the D flat. So I just know my notes. I know where they are in relation to my root note, but I just want to I want to ease your anxiety that I'm not thinking D flat as I move through it and find it on the guitar. That don't feel like you have to master that scale to be able to play it. So get it down in G, get it down in C, and see what you come up with. Let's see what else we had in the old hot topics. The handing off the notes, keep an eye on that. And then, what else can I say about it? If you want to improvise in that world, I would say let's play it in G. It's always interesting just to come back to the scale and hear how scaly it sounds. It's amazing that you rearrange that in a clever way and suddenly you've got this incredibly sad and beautiful piece of music. But underneath it all, these are the building blocks. So if I want to improvise over 1, 4, 5, and I want it to have that melancholy, sad kind of feeling. So I would maybe try to put some like, let's see, I won't start on that same high note. Let's go. What do we need? Finding my way. Back to the main one. Much better than what I was coming up with. All right. There's our look at Emile Mosseri's great song, Jacob in the Stone, arranged for guitar. We're going to take a 90-second break and then look forward to chatting with Emile about that tune and all things music. See you guys in 90 seconds.